Today, I would like to talk about adrenal fatigue. What is adrenal fatigue exactly? What are the symptoms you might be experiencing? And what you can do to recover from adrenal fatigue. So first, adrenal fatigue is used commonly in the media by health professionals or just the layman person that just wants to refer for themselves as they're suffering from a burnout. So what is adrenal fatigue? The actual proper term should be hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis dysregulation. So the adrenal gland is actually at the end of this chain of reaction that happens in the body and basically impairs adrenal function. But for the sake of our conversation today, let's just talk about adrenal fatigue and refers to the symptoms that someone may be experiencing from adrenal fatigue. And the actual terminology is not so important since we're talking here about the symptoms itself. So someone who will be suffering from adrenal fatigue will experience fatigue, obviously, will have zero stress resistance, meaning that any stressful events would be dealt in a way that is unusual, or that person just cannot withstand any stressful events. That person would not sleep well, even though that person would be tired and fatigued. The sleep pattern would be impacted by that. So usually a person suffering from adrenal fatigue would have a burst of energy during nighttime, usually between 2 and 4 a.m. So that person actually would wake up from their sleep and feel a little bit energetic. But waking up in the morning around between 6 and 8 in the morning is actually a difficult task for that person because they need to recover more from their sleep, and that's when they usually don't feel so good. And so as in the morning after the person get up, that person might feel a little bit like nauseous and not so well until they have something to eat. And another typical pattern is this person would have energy lows during the day, usually at 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, and this is because of their impaired cortisol curve. This person would also experience sweet cravings and salt cravings, and this is due to specific pathology that are associated with adrenal fatigue. So we talk here about the symptoms, so increased fatigue, poor stress resilience, impaired sleep pattern, energy lows throughout the day, and with that would be some weight gain. So there's a few reasons why this happens, because the cortisol curve is impaired, so the body doesn't work optimally. So for example, why having salt cravings? Well, the adrenal glands are not only responsible to control your cortisol level, but it's also responsible to control your sodium level to a hormone called aldosterone. And when adrenals are overstimulated, then its sensitivity to sodium level got shut down after 24 hours. So it means that past that point, the body actually has difficulty to control the sodium level. And so you may experience symptoms of dehydration, because where sodium goes, water follows. So if you have impaired sodium levels, you may feel dehydrated. So that's symptoms of like this feeling of like lethargy or laziness throughout the day. Why having sweet cravings? Well, cortisol is not only a stress hormone, but it's also responsible to keep your blood sugar level throughout the day. So after you've eaten the meals, a couple of hours later, your blood sugar would normally drop below normal, and then cortisol will be there to break down protein and fats into glucose to maintain your blood sugar level. But if you are under adrenal fatigue and don't have enough cortisol floating around, this process doesn't happen, and you actually end up in an hypoglycemic state. So that's when you experience those energy lows in the morning and in the afternoon. So 10 in the morning to in the afternoon, you feel really drained, this is because you are into hypoglycemia. And so that's another reason why people will often reach for coffee and donuts together. So coffee would be the stimulant, the donuts would provide the quick sugar for reestablishing this blood sugar balance. So I just explained some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing with adrenal fatigue, as well as the reason why this happens. So if you think that you are suffering from adrenal fatigue, then maybe you want to address that further. There's a couple of ways that you may be suffering from adrenal fatigue. Some of them could be poor sleep hygiene. Some other factors could be not eating enough calories in your diet, so chronically under eating. Other factors could be having some unknown food intolerances. So are you constantly eating some food that are irritating for your body? That could be stress management. So you might not have the coping strategy to manage the stressful events in your life. And so the thought patterns that happen in your head, this is something that can constantly trigger the release of cortisol and therefore leads to adrenal fatigue. So those are a couple of reasons. There's also events like, for example, death of a loved one, surgery, car accident, a very stressful work situation. For example, people who work as firefighters or militaries can often have post-traumatic syndrome. And so this can lead to adrenal fatigue. So there's a couple of reasons that might have caused adrenal fatigue. And if you have the symptoms and you think that fits the picture, then maybe you need to address that further and you need some help into recovering from adrenal fatigue. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you learned something from today's topic about adrenal fatigue. Thank you.